Hey guys, welcome back to my Bergpanther update. We're going to talk about a couple different things, Bergpanther and Panther related. First, I'd like to thank all my subscribers, all those who are participating in the Yag Tiger builds. There should have been a video up today on the Yag Tiger. It's a long one, sorry about that, but a lot of important detail in it. So, this is for the Bergpanther. It's been a little bit since I showed you everything on it. I have the cover. It's not fixed because I don't think I'm going to fix it. I got this back end in here. I got to do some touch-up painting, some more weathering and things, and then this just fits on here right now. What I've done to the front of this, and it's still got a little bit longer drying, is I added a gloss coat with Citadel's Technical Art Coat, which is a gloss coat, and I applied it with a brush. I want to conduct an experiment I'll talk about in a few minutes. I put a gloss on the top here and down here. And then I put a satin on this back panel, which is this stuff I got from my hobby store. It's Mecha Varnish. It's an airbrush-based Vallejo satin varnish. It's one heck of a bottle. I didn't want to get matte and I didn't want to get gloss, so I chose for satin. We'll see how it works. I heard you can apply decals with satin or flat, so I'm gonna try it out. So I brushed it on. I didn't airbrush it because I was just sitting here. I didn't want to fire up the airbrush for that. So I just brushed it on, and we're gonna do some stuff on the back of this with some weathering. But first, I want to talk to you about general Panther things. So I showed you in a previous video I've done that I had gotten this Panther late from Takom full interior, and then it had the Big Ed photo etch set, and I was gonna hold off on building this, but once this Bergepanther's done, which is pretty close, I'm gonna start that. That's more gonna be a build log where I build things, do updates like the Bergepanther. It's not gonna be a straight build along series like the Yak Tiger is, because that is how that was. I'm supposed to be doing that. This one is going to be just like this, updates, me showing you things, but I'm not going to be doing testing on it. All the testing I'm going to be doing is going to be on the Bergepanther. But I have picked up these two books from the research squad. It's from the Wheatcroft collection. It's called the Panther Project, and this guy Wheatcroft is in England. He's super rich and he restores tanks. And this basically is a wealth of pictures of every part of the interior of the drivetrain and hull. This is the drivetrain and hull right here, drivetrain and hull. And then there's a second book that covers the engine and the turret. This one's laid out a little bit differently. It mainly shows the different stuff at the years they did it, but this is basically, everything, everything you need picture-wise on what's painted what all the parts look like, what all the parts are, beautiful radio detail, things like that. And what I decided to do for that Panther A is to make a restored Panther A. This Panther, it was in the war, it's seen some damage, but it's being restored to a new condition. So it's gonna look good. There's gonna be like pin washes and some weathering, and then there's gonna be some parts where it wasn't able to be replaced, so it uses the original, so that's going to be a little bit more beat up. But then there's going to be some nice clean parts in there that are going to be like new. And then there's going to be, next to that is going to be a part where they were able to reuse like a torsion bar. Like there's going to be a nice shiny brand spanking new torsion bar, but maybe on the next wheel set is a beat up torsion bar that they were able to save from the original thing. So it's going to be a mix and match, like, maybe half the engine cover was be able to be saved, or the hatch, but the outside wasn't. and I'm going to show that, and hopefully show that in weathering. And that's basically how I'm going to build it. Because I got that photo etch set, and it's so gorgeous. I don't want to put that. I just don't think something that new looking and that good looking would look right in a beat up rusted tank. So that's my project for that Panther, and it's Panther related because this is a Panther, and this is what I'm doing all my experiments on. So we're gonna sit this aside and let that dry a little bit longer, and then I'll show you my two different track choices I have. This is my super dirty dry earth by MIG. It's got the dark track wash. It's got a dry brush of polished steel, and then it's got track wash with dirt pigment, dry earth pigment, all over it. I just slathered it on like an animal. Way too much. I get that, people. It's way too much. I understand that. But I've never done it before, so now I know. And then this is my more toned down, slightly dirty side. So I'm going to dirty it up to match it, or I might try just adding some rust pigments and things like that to this side. That's basically the tracks that I've done. On the underside, I did a filter from MIG, one of their three-tone or their dark yellow filter. And when I tried to clean up around the edges, it peeled up the acrylic, and I think that has to do with my Vallejo surface primer, which I am switching to Mr. Surfacer 1000 sprayed through the airbrush with Mr. Color leveling thinners. And I'm hoping that fixes the problem, and then I'll just spray over it with either MIG or Model Air from Vallejo and do some brush painting. But that's why I'm hoping I put the satin coat and gloss to hopefully that solves that problem. But this was a filter, it peeled the paint, so I'm going to end up repainting this with a brush and then sealing it with the satin coat and then try weathering it, or the gloss, depending on what weathering technique I like better. I know the inside doesn't look good, guys, but I'm mainly using it for a test bed for things. I'm going to try some different internal enamel washes, and then I'm going to try to clean up these washes with, a Q-tip and some distilled turpentine. But what my problem is I didn't protect the undercoat. As you can see, if I try to rubbing that just rubs right off the Vallejo surface primer. So I didn't seal it. So I'm going to have to touch this up and then spray the whole inside with matte varnish. And then try to re-weather it. And it makes me mad. I spent time building this. I tried to paint it to my best abilities, but I'm at this point, I'm saying that it's a lost cause on this interior. So it's just basically going to be a test bed. I'm going to spray it with a matte, and then we can test different washes, pin washes, and things like that with oils. Which, as I showed in a previous video, I got these Avid Lung weathering washes or oils, and I have some more coming. So I'm going to do that. And I also got some rust and exhaust pigment and some fixer. So I'm using the X20A for the fixer on the pigments. I heard that was a good fixer. So I'm disappointed in this. I had higher hopes for the way this was going to turn out, but that Vallejo surface primer, it really, I loved it. I painted all my minis with it all the time. I never had a problem. I washed the parts. I don't know why I'm having this problem where it just peels like crazy. It just peels. Just you look at it wrong and it peels. So I was told you could do enamels over acrylics and you were fine without sealing it in, and I'm having major issues with that. Even the glue just like peels it off in sheets. If you just touch a glue on it, it'll peel off in sheets. Like if you look right there, it's just, I barely touched the glue there and it just peeled it right off. So I've never had that problem before. So now on this, I protected this with a satin varnish, which I showed you. It's this Mecha varnish, satin varnish. It was large, it was cheap, and hopefully it solves my problem. So this is dry. It's got a nice hard coat on that. Now let's see what we can do about some crazy kind of weathering on this. Now, I have never weathered with oils. So this is going to be an interesting learning thing here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my distilled turpentine, and I am going to decant it in this Tamiya bottle so I have a little bit to work with. I don't want to knock this big bottle over. Just put a little bit in there. Put this back. We'll put the lid on that. And I'll get a little tray here. I'll clean it out. Spray some alcohol in there. Clean it out with that. And I'll use that for my dirty thinner, my dirty turpentine, which I'm going to put back in that bottle. I don't know why I did it in that order. So I don't really have any oil brushes as of say. So I don't want to use anything too good. So I'm going to just look at my collection here. Sorry I didn't prep this out further. I have a pack of brushes. I'm just going to grab the smallest one because what I've seen that I like is the dot filter. That's what I've seen that I like. What I've liked people have done is the dot filter. So yeah, I don't think that brush is going to work for that. I'm going to have to use my tiny one that I was just using. Alright, so what I'm going to do, point on that. So I recommend using a piece of cardboard, which I have right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a little bit of this cardboard off. Could have cut it with a knife, it would have been quieter. Sorry about that. And here's what we have. We have some white, some brown, some earth, some light mud, and some dark mud, and some engine grease. I'm not going to do any engine grease. I don't even know if these are the right colors for a dot filter, but I'm going to use a little bit of light rust. Just going to put a little bit of that down. And then I'm going to put a little bit of this light mud, and then I'm going to do some dark mud. So a little bit of that. Some earth. A little much on that one. Some brown. Whoa, that one was all oil. Oh, that one was like super oily at the top there. That's probably because it's a wash. I'm doing this on paper. Okay, and some white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush, I'm going to dip it in some white, and I'm going to do some dots all over here. I'm just going to do this side right here. I'm going to get some of this brown, this light mud. And then I'm going to get some of this, wipe some of that off, get some of this dark. Remember, I've never done this dot filter thing before, so I don't know if this is going to do anything. And then a little bit of this brown earth, just so. Now, what I've seen you do, which I've seen you do is, well, I definitely seen you don't make a mess, because that is apparently what I have done. Let's go clean up that brush. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of this thinner here, it's distilled turpentine. Just put a little bit in my brush because I don't want to use too much. Because you definitely don't want to use too much. And I'm going to take my flat brush here. Hopefully I don't get this oil everywhere. And I'm going to get my brush in there. And then I'm going to get it off. Then I'm going to just streak down here like this. Now that looks like garbage, I know. Because I don't know what I'm doing. Now I'm going to dip in my brush in there again, clean it off a little bit. Wipe it off. And the good thing about this over that varnish that I did, I can easily just take it all off with thinner. But I actually, you know what, for the first time doing that, I think that looks pretty good. I like that. I like the tonal variation in that. I don't know what I did. I don't know if I did it correctly, but I like the way that panel looks. I like the way that panel looks a lot. It's got a little bit of streaking in it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below if you like the way that looks. But I'm gonna carry on doing the rest of the panel like that. Just little later dots here. This brown, a light mud. The exhaust pipes I'm going to hit up with some different techniques, so we'll work around them. Some of this dark mud. And then some of this brown earth here. Probably went a little extreme on the dots. I see people do less dots, but I don't know. We'll find out. See if I can replicate my results. Alright. Alright, so we will dip into our thinners, wipe them off, and we will streak down here like so. long as we're going in the same side-to-side motion, I believe. It'll work. Now what I'm going to do is, I got a lot of light over here, so I'm just going to add a couple more dots of this dark. Just to clean that up. So in here, get my brush wet. That's the nice thing about that dot filter. You can make fine adjustments like that. And that's what it looks like. Wow, I was very surprised how easy that was, and the fact that I was able to do that. I hope that came out on camera, guys. Because wow, I am like shocked I was able to do that. Wow. I lost for words. I think it looks great. I think it changes the tone just the right amount. I am happy with that result. I was planning on using other methods to do things and stuff, but I think that worked out pretty well. I have all this oil here. I don't know what to do with. So, well, that's that back panel with a pin wash. I hope I did that correctly with a pin wash. And I have this satin coat up here on this hatch that I wanted to do. Let me see what I want to do. I'm going to try and I'm going to take this brown wash stuff right here. I'm going to add thinner to it. See if I can turn it into a pin wash. Alright, let's see what we got here. Let's see if we can get it to go in this little crack right here. Pull out all this little detail here. I don't know if I'm doing this correctly, but I watched videos online. Different people do it a lot differently. And I've never seen this product used in this manner, but, you know, I'm willing to try anything once. I'm a sucker for that. That's why I have so many tools that don't work. Okay, so there's that, and then now I'm going to take cotton bud, and I'm just going to roll it along there lightly. It's not glued down. Drop it. A little bit of mineral on there, terpenoid or whatever it's called. Sorry, that's off camera. It's probably best that it's off camera because it looks like garbage. Yeah, that. I wonder how that would work as a filter. I'm going to add a little bit more dinner to it and spill it everywhere. There we go. Oh, it's super thin. It's looking ratty, but looks like it actually has a little bit of rust staining on it and stuff. See, if I pull it to a way the hatch would open, so it would open in the middle like that for some odd reason. So that's the way, if it was left open, that's the way the streaking would go. Which I was surprised there wasn't a way to make that hatch open. Yeah, this is going to be another long video. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, well that I'm gonna call that. We'll see how it looks later, but I'm gonna call that one a total fail. That's what I'm labeling that one as. That one's gonna be a fail. Dot filter, that worked. Homemade mess, awful. That's why you don't make homemade things. But we tried it. Oh, I just got beat on the lid. But we tried it, and that's the most important thing. We tried things. Bergepanther, we have a cool back panel. We had used some oils as a dot filter. We ruined this with whatever I did that was awful. So, we looked at the tracks. Well, that's going to do it for this video. It's about 30 minutes. So, after this, this is not going to be 100% complete because I want to do different weathering techniques on different sides. And for when I do the Panther, which will probably be started soon. I will probably start that Panther soon. And then we'll use this as a test bed for, you know, things like this, so I don't do it on the Panther and have to strip everything back. Well, that's going to do it for this video. For Crazy Gamers Model Making, I am the Crazy Gamer. And as always, you guys have a great day.